discussion around gender and biological sex never seems to die down at the moment. Which is more important, gender or biological sex? The sex I'm born with or the gender I identify with? It can be a fraught debate, and it is one into which the Prime Minister waded this week at Prime Minister's Questions, given the chance by a question from a Conservative colleague.
This is one of those issues that the whole House is coming to realise is one that requires extreme sensitivity, tact, love and care. We must recognise that when people want to make a transition in their lives, that they should be treated with the maximum possible generosity and respect. And we have systems in this country that allow that and have done for a long time. We should be very proud of it. But I do want to say, in addition, Mr. Speaker, that I think when it comes to distinguishing between a man and a woman, that the basic facts of biology remain overwhelmingly important, Mr. Speaker.
There you have it, the Prime Minister's take on the debate. Sensitivity, tact, love and care needed. The facts of biology, though, important. That was his way of navigating through it. The emphasis on biological sex, not altogether what some wanted to hear. We can get a reaction from Andrew Boff, who is not only the Conservative chair of the London Assembly, but a patron of LGBT Conservatives. Andrew, what did you pick out of what you heard the Prime Minister say?
Well, the first part was okay, because I think the members of Parliament are justly proud of the way in which legislation has moved forward over the past few decades in order to ensure that trans people can assume their rights. I think I was a bit concerned about the last thing he said, because of course that's a bit of it's almost impossible to determine what his motives was, because there is yes, it is absolutely true that people have born with a biological sex, but you don't actually have to prove it on every introduction to every other human being. What people judge you on is your gender. And this is something that legislation has accepted. And trans people are allowed to continue in the gender of their choice. And there should be no backtracking on that.
Did you feel the Prime Minister was trying to say, on the one hand, on the other hand, and no more than that? Or did you feel the Prime Minister was trying to make a point, I'm not like some Labour politicians who can't tell you what a woman is because they don't want to say biology matters. I am on the other side of the argument. I am someone who believes biology matters. What did you make, though, of where the Prime Minister is in this?
Well, I've worked with Boris for 8 years, and he often said stuff just to avoid the answer. But what's very clear is that this attack on the rights of trans people is appalling.
The Prime Minister's attack.
We should not be having arguments in the 21st century about whether or not a group has rights. It's astonishing that we are doing that. We are using trans people as scapegoats for wider problems with society. And
was the Prime Minister doing that, Andrew? That's what I want to get at. Do you think the Prime Minister was doing that? Was he pandering, if you like, to another side of the argument, which wanted the other side of the argument to you?
That is Boris's style. He doesn't actually like to upset anybody, so he tries to say something in the middle to please everyone. And unfortunately, sometimes that backfires and he upsets everybody. I have written to Boris, incidentally, and asked for a meeting with him, not a meeting of just concerned MPs, but actually trans people. I think he needs to meet more trans people to realise that they are not the scary people that those people who want to attack their rights reckon they are.
Is this a really big argument in the Conservative Party? Or maybe the Conservative Party has taken a view opposite to your view, Andrew?
Well, it's a big argument in most parties. I mean, to be frank, there's arguments in the Labour Party, and it almost tore the Green Party apart, who lost a leader as a result of their debate about this issue. But fundamentally, what we've got to talk about is whether or not trans people have rights, whether or not we accept gender dysphoria as a thing, and if we don't, I want to see. I want to see what the proof is that gender dysphoria doesn't exist. If it exists, we must take account of it. We have protections in place in the law, and unfortunately, we're in an environment where people are trying to roll back on those protections. As in Poland, may I say?
Andrew, thanks.
As in Poland.
Thank you so much for that. And I'll tell you, we'd absolutely